Beloved chosen ones, are you wondering why your life has felt like a battlefield from the moment you were born? Why is it that no matter how hard you try, struggles seem to chase you, obstacles rise before you, and battles come at you from every direction? Have you ever looked around and thought, why do I face more opposition than others? Let me tell you something that may shock you. Your hardships are not random, and your pain is not meaningless. The truth is, even the forces of darkness know who you are. They whisper your name in fear because you are a threat. They don't waste their time on those who are powerless. They attack those who carry the divine light of God within them. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. John 1:5. This is why your life has never been easy, because you were never meant for an ordinary existence. You were chosen to carry God's power, and that makes you dangerous to the enemy. Have you noticed how, despite all the betrayal, pain, and hardship, you are still standing? Do you realize that what should have broken you only made you stronger? Every tear you have shed, every wound you have endured, was not meant to destroy you, but to train you. You are being refined, tested, and transformed, not for defeat, but for victory. You are not merely a survivor, you are a warrior in God's army. Blessed is the one who perseveres under trial, because, having stood the test, that person will receive the crown of life that the Lord has promised to those who love him. James 1:12. So let me ask you, do you feel the fire inside you? Do you sense that something greater is calling you? Do you recognize that everything you have endured has been shaping you into something powerful? If you feel this truth stirring within your spirit, comment below and share your experience. Let others know that they are not alone in this battle. The enemy has tried to silence you, but your voice, your testimony, and your light will not be hidden. This is only the beginning. What comes next will reveal just how unstoppable you truly are. Get ready. You are chosen, you are powerful, and even demons know it. Have you ever wondered why the battles you face seem relentless? Why the attacks come at you harder than they do for others? It's because even before you knew who you were, the enemy already recognized you. The forces of darkness saw your potential before you did. They saw the power God placed inside you and tried to destroy you before you could step into your divine calling. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. Jeremiah 1:5. This is why your life has been full of struggles. Not because you are weak, but because you are a powerful force in the spiritual realm. And now something is shifting. You are no longer the person you once were. The battles that were meant to break you have only made you stronger. Your first sign of transformation: battles in your dreams. Have you ever had dreams where you were fighting, running, facing forces you didn't understand? Those were not just dreams. They were battlegrounds. Like Joseph in Genesis 37, God has been revealing your destiny to you in visions. The enemy has been trying to attack you in the spiritual realm because they cannot reach you in the physical. The fact that they engage you in your sleep is proof of your spiritual authority. For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world. Ephesians 6:12. If you've been experiencing spiritual warfare in your dreams, it means you have reached a level where the enemy can no longer confront you directly. They must attack from the shadows. But here's the truth: you are winning. Every time you stand firm in faith, every time you wake up and keep pushing forward, you are proving your strength. The spiritual realm respects true power. Respect in the spiritual realm doesn't come from titles, status, or how many Bible verses you can quote. It comes from your unshakable connection with God. This is why you walk into rooms and the atmosphere shifts, why some people look uneasy when you enter. The darkness within them senses who you are now, a force that cannot be ignored. Even demons, just like in Matthew 8:29, recognized Jesus and trembled before him. They did not fear his words, they feared his authority. Let me ask you, have you noticed how some people who once disrespected you now avoid eye contact? Do you feel a sense of spiritual power growing inside you? Have your dreams become more vivid, more intense, more real? If you resonate with this, leave a comment below. Share your experiences. Let others know that they are not alone in this battle. The enemy fears what you are becoming, a warrior of God, a beacon of divine light, and a conqueror of darkness. And this is just the beginning. Your power is growing, and even the darkness knows it. The power within you is undeniable, and even your enemies can feel it. Have you ever walked into a room and sensed a shift in the atmosphere? Have you noticed that the very people who once spoke against you have now fallen silent in your presence? This is not a coincidence. Your spiritual authority has grown, and those who once opposed you are now forced to recognize it. There was a time when they plotted against you, whispered behind your back, and tried to break you. But now, when you enter the room, their voices fade, not out of fear, but because they sense something greater within you. They may not understand it, but they cannot ignore it. The Bible gives us a powerful example of this in 1 Samuel 16 verse 23. Whenever the Spirit from God came on Saul, David would take up his lyre and play. Then relief would come to Saul, he would feel better, and the evil spirit would leave him. Just as David's presence alone was enough to drive away the evil spirit tormenting Saul, your very existence now disrupts the forces of darkness. The same people who once confidently spoke against you now hesitate. They avoid eye contact. Their energy shifts. Why? Because they realize they can no longer manipulate, deceive, or diminish you. You have ascended to a higher level, and they feel it. Light does not need to shout to push back darkness. It simply shines, and darkness must disappear. In the same way, you no longer need to fight unnecessary battles or prove yourself to anyone. Your transformation speaks for itself. This is why Jesus said in Matthew 5:14-16, "You are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden. Let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven." Your presence alone is now a weapon. The enemy no longer seeks to challenge you head-on. Instead, they retreat because they recognize the divine fire within you. Have you noticed this happening in your life? Do certain people who once drained your energy now keep their distance? Have the ones who tried to tear you down suddenly grown quiet, as if something is holding them back? Do you sense that you no longer have to struggle the way you used to, because battles seem to resolve themselves the moment you step into a situation? This is the power of divine alignment. The battles you used to fight with words and actions are now being won by your very presence. The enemy is no longer attacking. You are commanding respect without saying a word. This is why your light cannot be ignored. Even those who do not understand spirituality can feel it. They sense that something about you is different, something unshakable. That is the presence of God within you. So I ask you, have you noticed this shift in your life? Do you feel the authority you now carry? Drop a comment below and share your experience. You are not alone. Your transformation is undeniable, and the world is beginning to see it. Even the darkness now respects who you are. Have you noticed it yet? The way the atmosphere shifts the moment you step into a room? Conversations seem to slow, an unspoken awareness fills the space, and the heaviness that once lingered begins to dissipate. This is not your imagination. This is the power of divine transformation. You are no longer the person you used to be, and now the energy you carry is undeniable. Darkness cannot coexist with light, and your presence alone forces it to retreat. This is exactly what happened in Matthew 8 verse 29, when Jesus encountered demons, and they cried out, "What do you want with us, Son of God? Have you come here to torture us before the appointed time?" Even the forces of darkness recognized the authority of Christ, and they trembled in his presence. Now that same authority flows through you. The trials that once tried to break you have instead refined you, and the spiritual realm has taken notice. The weight of divine protection surrounds you, making it impossible for darkness to remain where you stand. You may not see it with your physical eyes, but the spiritual world sees it clearly. Some people around you sense it too, even if they can't explain why. Have you ever walked into a place and suddenly felt the tension shift? Have you noticed how certain individuals who thrive in negativity seem unsettled when you're near? This is because the spirit within you exposes and disrupts what is hidden. It brings clarity where there was confusion, peace where there was unrest, and order where there was chaos. But here's the truth. You don't need to fear the presence of darkness, because darkness fears you. You are walking under divine protection, covered by the presence of God Himself. Psalm 91:11 says, "For He will command His angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways." Every step you take is under divine guidance, and nothing formed against you can stand. The forces that once tried to block your path now make way because they recognize what you carry. So I ask you, have you felt this shift in your life? Have you noticed how people react differently to you? How environments seem lighter after you arrive? You are not imagining it. You are walking in divine authority, and even those who do not understand the spiritual realm can sense it. Drop a comment below and share your experience. Let others see that they are not alone in this transformation. This is your confirmation. You are chosen, protected, and empowered, and even the forces of darkness know it. Have you ever noticed how the same people who once doubted you, mocked you, or dismissed you now speak of you with a different tone? They may not say it outright, but their actions reveal the truth. They can no longer deny the power within you. The very ones who once tried to break you now watch in silence as you rise, stronger than ever. They whispered behind your back, waiting for you to fall, yet here you are, walking in divine strength, covered by God's hand, and moving forward with unstoppable force. Isaiah 54 verse 17 declares, "No weapon that is formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against you in judgment you shall condemn." They crafted weapons against you, words, betrayals, plots, and schemes. But instead of destroying you, those very attacks became the stepping stones that propelled you higher. What was meant for your downfall became the fuel for your transformation. Every setback was a setup for a greater comeback. Every wound was turned into wisdom. Every moment of rejection was God's redirection towards something greater. They may try to dismiss your growth, but deep down, they see it. They see how unshaken you have become. They see how the pain they thought would break you has instead built you into something indestructible. Even in their bitterness, they can't deny it. They watch in awe, wondering how you survived what was meant to destroy you. But here's the truth. They never had the power to destroy you. The enemy never had the final say. God did. And He has been with you through it all, turning your trials into triumphs, your losses into lessons, and your wounds into weapons. So now let me ask you, have you noticed this shift? Have you seen people who once tried to bring you down suddenly go quiet? Have you sensed the weight of their unspoken acknowledgement? Drop a comment below and share your experience. This is not just your story. It is the story of every chosen one who has walked through the fire and emerged refined. You are not just surviving, you are thriving. You are not just standing, you are soaring. And even your enemies can no longer ignore it. There was a time when you had to fight every battle, when every step forward felt like a war. But now, something has changed. The darkness no longer dares to challenge you the way it once did. Where you used to struggle, now you stand in unwavering authority. You no longer have to chase away the enemy. Your very presence causes them to retreat. Why? Because you have stepped into divine power, and the forces of darkness recognize it. James 4:7 declares, "Submit yourselves therefore to God. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you." Notice it doesn't say he might flee. It says he will flee. There is no negotiation, no hesitation. Darkness knows when it is outmatched. It tried to break you, but instead it refined you. It tried to silence you, but instead it amplified your voice. Now, the very forces that once tormented you must step back because they know they cannot win against the power of God that dwells within you. You are no longer just surviving, you are ruling in the spiritual realm. Where once you had to fight, now you command. Where once you were attacked, now you set the atmosphere. When you walk into a room, the energy shifts. The tension breaks, the weight of oppression lifts. Not because you force it, but because the power of God within you is undeniable. This is what it means to be chosen. This is what it means to walk in divine dominion. Have you noticed how situations that once drained you no longer affect you the same way? Have you felt the shift in your spirit, the realization that you are no longer in a place of defense, but of authority? If so, drop a comment below and share your testimony. Let the world know that when God raises His chosen ones, no force in heaven or on earth can stand against them. You are not just stepping into your purpose, you are ruling in it. This is your time. Step boldly, for the kingdom of God is within you. You were never meant to live in fear. Your purpose is not to shrink back or to hide in the shadows. You have been through the fire, and now you carry the power to shift the very atmosphere around you. Every battle you have endured was preparing you for this moment, to step fully into your divine authority and transform the world around you. You are not just a survivor. You are a force, a living testament to God's power at work. The question is, will you embrace it? Romans 8 verse 31 declares, "If God is for us, who can be against us?" Let that truth sink in. You no longer need validation from people. You do not require their approval. You have already been chosen, already been set apart, already been anointed by the Most High. The opinions of others hold no weight against the calling God has placed upon your life. The world may not understand you, but they will not be able to ignore you. When you walk in your light, darkness must step aside. When you stand in your truth, those who doubted you will have no choice but to witness the power of God in your life. Have you noticed how people react differently to you now? How rooms feel different when you walk in? That is not a coincidence. That is the evidence of the transformation within you. You are no longer the person you used to be, and that unsettles those who are still trapped in their own limitations. But do not let that discourage you. Let it remind you that you were called for something greater. So are you ready to fully accept your role? Are you prepared to walk in your divine power without hesitation? If you feel this truth resonating in your spirit, leave a comment below. Declare it. I am chosen. I am walking in my divine power. Let this be your moment of affirmation, your declaration to the world that you are stepping boldly into the purpose God has set before you. This is not the time to doubt. This is the time to rise. You are no longer just surviving. You are anointed. Every battle, every tear, every trial you have endured was not to break you, but to build you into the warrior God has called you to be. You are not here by accident. You were chosen, set apart, and refined through fire so that you could rise in strength, wisdom, and divine authority. Now is the time to step boldly into your power, no longer seeking the approval of man, but walking in the purpose that God Himself has ordained for you. Matthew 22 verse 14 reminds us, "For many are called, but few are chosen." You are among the few. You are the one who has been shaped, tested, and prepared for such a time as this. The world may not understand you, but that does not change who you are. You do not need validation from people, because heaven has already stamped you with divine approval. The anointing upon your life is undeniable, and it is time to embrace it fully. No more hesitation, no more second guessing. You are not here to blend in, you are here to lead, to transform, and to shine. So now I ask you, what has this journey been like for you? Have you felt the weight of your calling? Have you seen how God has used even your hardest moments to elevate you? Share your testimony in the comments. Let the world hear your voice. Declare it boldly. I am chosen. I am walking in divine power. Let this be your moment to stand firm in who you are. And if this message resonated with you, do not keep it to yourself. There are others out there, others who have felt alone, others who need to be reminded of their strength. Share this message, like the video, and connect with the community of chosen ones who are rising together. This is not just a message, it is a movement. The time for silence is over. The time for stepping into your destiny is now. You are chosen, you are anointed, and nothing can stand against the power of God within you.